crap. You are. Thanks for mentioning it.
Okay, 7 o'clock.
We're ready to go? Okay. Good evening. Welcome to this, the first meeting of October of the Torrington City Council. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here. Before we open the meeting, actually, I want to thank Grant and Ryan Caith from KGOS KERM for broadcasting us live on 99.9 FM and also video and audio at KGOS Sports on the YouTube channel. Thank you. Also, thank you, Logan Daly from the Torrington Telegram, for covering us. We appreciate that. So we'll open the meeting, and first order is to have the pledge, and Councilman Kinney. I appreciate it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for reminding me.
You bet. It's my job.
All right, information items for tonight. For the last 2 weeks or more, the weather outside has been mild with moderate temperatures and frequent showers. It's been a great time to be outside to enjoy the Wyoming fall weather. Scottsbluff Valley Street Rods Car Show was held a week ago last Saturday downtown on our main street. The weather was great, lots of beautiful cars to look at, and outstanding participation from our community. We're looking forward to the same event next year, we hope. As of today, October 4th, the number of positive COVID cases in the last week excuse me, has dropped from more than 50 a couple months ago down to 7. There are no patients currently being treated at community hospital for COVID-related illness. Public Health, though, reports today a COVID-related death confirmed in Goshen County, bringing the total to 58. A good sign for our community, though, is that Goshen County has been moved to the low-risk category. Vaccination clinic was held today, and the next one will be at the Pony Express Room at Lincoln Center on Tuesday, the 18th of this month. The bivalent Omicron booster is also available. Please call Public Health for an appointment. Please remain aware of our children, parents, buses, and activity that are taking place in and around our schools. Slow down in those areas. The speed limit in school zones is 20 miles per hour. Lights, signs, crosswalks are visible in all those areas, and the police have been increasing their patrols in all areas where children are present. We remind everyone to put your phone down and refrain from talking and texting while driving in our community. Please get out and support our youth in their endeavors this fall. The Baylor site is no longer open on Saturdays. That service ended on Saturday the 1st and will begin again late next spring if Ed's willing. Grass bins are located throughout the city for your use. Please refrain from placing anything other than grass in those bins. Elk Eco Cycle is open Monday through Wednesday to receive your separated paper, aluminum, and steel cans and cardboard. Please help the recycling effort in our community by taking your recyclables to the Curtis Avenue site. The Staff and Museum Association at the Homesteaders Museum announces that Museum will return from 6 to 8 p.m. on October 28th and October 29th. Please call the museum for more information about that. Also, the Goshen County Visitor Center is in the process of moving to the Homesteaders Museum, and that will take place over the next couple of weeks. The City of Torrington, like all municipalities across the state, is waiting patiently to find out the results of our 4 ARPA projects that we've submitted for approval. All of the municipalities' projects in the state of Wyoming, including the City of Torrington's, are water and wastewater related. We understand that the State Land and Investment Board will meet sometime in the last week of this month to report results to local governments on the projects that are under consideration at this time. We're not quite 6 weeks away from the November 8th general election, and as a reminder, there are 2 candidates running for the position of mayor. They are Dennis Kelly and Herb Doby. There are 3 candidates running for the 2 open positions on the City Council. They are Kate Steinbach, Wayne Deal, and Shane Victorin. There are also positions on the Goshen County School Board and on the EWC Board of Trustees. Please take the time to learn about these candidates. Inform yourself before you cast your ballot. All positions are important, and the candidates deserve your attention to the reasons for their candidacy. And that covers the information for tonight. Next item of business is to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the September 20th City Council meeting.
I move to approve the minutes as
Councilman
presented.
Kelly, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Kinney, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approved the consent agenda. Next is to approve the agenda, and there is an amendment. Please mark it at 2A, between number 2 and 3 there. It is the Homecoming Parade Special Events Permit Update, and Chief Johnson will provide the information for that when we get there. Other than that, I think it's as advertised.
I'd move to approve the agenda with the addition.
Thank you. Councilman Steinbach
I'll second that.
and Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approved the agenda. Nothing in public forum, so we'll move to action items. First action item is Goshen County Economic Development Quarter Penny Sales Tax Request for Support. And Braden is here from Economic Development to appraise us of all the information.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Thank you for allowing me some time this evening to visit with you guys about economic development and the quarter cents on the November 8th ballot. I gave you all a presentation, just walking through it. You know, a lot of people ask what is economic development, and I kind of felt that definition in there, expansion of local tax base by achieving economic prosperity without increasing taxes. I think that's key, right? Like, we're not out to increase taxes, we're just increasing the tax base. More businesses, more industry in the area and pays more taxes to the tax base. And so if you move on to page 3, just a quick overview of our organization. We're a nonprofit, C6, funded by membership in quarter penny sales tax for economic development. We have decreased to a 4-person staff. I believe when this thing was up in 2018, I believe there was 5 or 6. So we have made some cuts. I personally feel comfortable at 4. 23-member board of directors. We, as of right now, are Economic Development, Chamber of Commerce, and our Main Street. As all of you know, owner of Cold Springs Business Park, marketing agent for your park as well. Goals, I think first and foremost is that top one, develop and expand local business in Goshen County. That is what we wake up in the morning to do every day, and that's what keeps us going. I think that's what has helped get the quarter cent over the finish line the last few times it's been on the ballot, and so I think that again is another important thing. That's what we're here for. Other ideas are, you know, value-added agricultural investments. We had a very good value-added agricultural investment in front of this council that you guys approved, and we went to the state about, and you know, if we can continue having opportunities like that in this county, I think it's good for everybody. You know, obviously we'd all love to fill our business parks and have manufacturing jobs and industrial jobs, but that's another thing that we continue to work on. You know, recruiting new business, that one's a bit tougher. We were in the COVID pandemic, there wasn't much traveling. I think that maybe will come around, but again, I think our lifeblood is that develop and expand local businesses. You know, I think our recruiting is a very small portion of what we focus our time on. Broadband enhancement and expansion, that was something that Ashley Harpstreet, when she was here, was big on, was getting broadband in Goshen County. And I can tell you, when I moved here in 2019, I was pretty shocked at the lack of broadband. You know, when we were talking about sending broadband through the air, I was, what do you mean by that? And now we have it. You know, I have Vive at home. You know, Vive has been investing heavily in Torrington, Visionary as well, Mountain West Technologies. And so, if anything, the COVID pandemic brought us competition amongst our broadband providers, and I think that's a good thing for all of us that are utilizing it, and I think it's been a major win for economic development and for Goshen County. Next slide, our working committees. We have a business development committee, finance committee. We have a Main Street board, which under the National Main Street Program, which Leanne Mattis heads up right now. And there are committees within that, Progress Program Committee. So that's our committee that pushes that quarter-cent money out to be utilized in those, around the county and in those municipalities. And then we do have a Cold Springs Business Park Oversight and Construction Committee, which is a committee that Mr. Harkins sits on, make sure that we're doing the right thing in the city. Next slide, operations. You can kind of see we're in year end right now, so I don't have updated. This is from last year. But you can see, you know, if you take our budget as a whole, you can see that we spend the majority of our time and money in community and economic development. Management in general is like our, you know, your human resources, budgeting, that type of stuff. We try to spend as little of time in that as possible, and the same in fundraising and membership. That next pie is our support, our support and revenues. So as you can see, that red piece is the sales tax. Obviously, that's a major boom. We've had some grant help in the past that's been really helpful. We do have lease income from the 2 buildings that we own, and then membership, and then, as you well know, local government support, and we definitely appreciate that. You know, just going through the highlights, like I said, encourage business growth, create jobs, build on local assets. Number one priority is that retention and expansion of local businesses. I mean, I don't know that we can just, if we can not hammer on that hard enough, I'm not sure. But we do have a business incubator. Right now we have 2 businesses in there. Goshen Health, or Goshen Care at Home, I guess is what their name is. And then Kelly Integrity Safety Solutions, both of which are great tenants. Recent graduates is Health Time, Nona Kinswater. She's just down the street from us on 21st. And then Wyoming Winds Counseling is Wendy George, and she's up on Main Street, has a facility. And so both of those are, you know, great graduates of the incubator and getting out there and doing things on their own. You know, and we can't go without talking about our Main Street events. In the past years, it's been Third Thursday. This year it was the concert series, Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, Christmas events that we do in 21st in Maine, Mother's Day events, the Trunk or Treat, which you'll hear about here after I get done talking, and then we do the Ag Breakfast out at the fairgrounds during the Goshen County Fair. So on to the Progress Program. Right now we are one of 2 counties. We were the only county for the longest time, and Fremont County actually passed a half-cent sales tax for economic development. I do know in Fremont County it's utilized a little differently than we do. As of current, we've invested $1.5 million back into the community. Average funding leveraged. So for every dollar of Progress Program of economic development money that's put out there, it's leveraged $21.88 of whether it be private money, other government money, grant money, whatever. And so it's, to me, that's leveraged pretty well. Infrastructure and community improvements, so that's what, you know, municipalities go after. That's leveraged 20.5 to 1. Again, I think those are really good. And then our capital matching, which that goes strictly to businesses and nonprofits in Goshen County, and that's leveraged to 33 to 1. And so, you know, we're making wise investments. That money is being leveraged to its full potential, and I think that's something to be proud of. The next page is just the infrastructure funds received, so that's what the municipalities have received. You can kind of see the city of Torrington's share in the pie, and then you can look at how each municipality has leveraged those funds as well. Torrington's been a little lower than the rest, but I think that's all right. You guys are using it a little different than the other municipalities, and so I don't know that the leverage ratio necessarily paints the right picture, but it is a metric that we do kind of watch and keep track of. On page 10, so this was from our accountant. The way to read this is sales tax revenue. So that's total amount of sales tax revenue that we've received. We've received matching grant funds to economic development, and then we've expended that $7.1 million back into the community. And so we've received 5, we've leveraged 2, and we've spent 7. And that's been since the beginning. At the end of it, I'm sure all of you know our past president, Mr. Kelly Sittner. If you ever talk to him, he will tell you adamantly that this is not a tax, this is an investment, and we wholeheartedly agree with that. And then just another wrap-up quote is stagnation is not in the recipe for prosperity. I heard that at a conference one time, and I thought it resonated well. At the end of that packet, there is a letter to the editor that we plan on sending at the end of October, right before the election. And so Mayor Adams has graciously, Mayor, we appreciate the support. We appreciate the council's support. You guys have been a great partner in this, and I truly appreciate everything that you've done for us. Is there any questions I can answer from you?
Is there any
Um,
projects in the
go
works
ahead.
that you can talk about?
I have some stuff moving, but I am not at liberty to talk about them yet. They're just kind of lingering. I'm not sure where we're headed. So most of what I have is outside of Torrington city limits, but there are things that will be good for Goshen County if they come to fruition.
I know there are quite a few things out there that could be going forward, but we have supply problems. We can't get the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff's a year out, a year and a half out before we can even bring the materials here to do it. So
Yep.
that's part of the problem.
That's been a issue for 2 projects that I have that are interested in Torrington.
Yeah.
So.
Can you talk a little bit about the visitor center move to our Homesteaders Museum?
Yeah, had been kind of a topic of conversation. How best is that utilized? We looked at it. It was located in 21st and Main, kind of behind Bluebird Boutique, which is there now. Since I have been around, and we looked at traffic numbers. The person sitting at that desk are supposed to keep track of traffic numbers in that facility. And to have it there and not at the Homesteaders Museum, it just made sense. There wasn't enough traffic in that facility. The visitor center was not bringing people to 21st and Main, was not bringing people to downtown Torrington. The visitor center just happened to be there. And so I think, working with our board and the lodging tax board, moving that to the Homesteaders Museum, I think made a ton of sense. I think if you're coming in a large RV or something like that, it's much easier to park out there. I hope it drives traffic to the museum. The south end of Torrington is really the entrance to Torrington for a lot of travelers. And so the visitor center being out there, I think was a good move. Personally, the lodging tax board has since, gone on by themselves. We continue to support however we can. Obviously, tourism and economic development work hand in hand, and so we will continue the relationship and help where is needed. And I think there's some changes potentially coming to that board and how they view projects and their grant funding, and so I look forward to how it goes forward. I hope we can drive tourism up in this county, because that not only helps the lodging tax board, but that helps economic development, that helps the city of Torrington, that helps Goshen County as a whole, so.
Sarah tells me that even though that the Venture Center's not up and running, we've already had increased visitation just to the fact that we know it's coming. And we'll probably increase a great deal if we can get somebody hired for that position.
I 100%
Get on
agree.
that, would you?
Okay, sounds good.
I understand we just can't get applications, huh?
And that's a resounding notion I've heard around the city, is there are jobs available, but no one to work them. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but
Yeah.
Are there any plans to increase the night out thing to, like they do in Scotts Bluff, or do you just leave it the way it was this year?
honestly, Councilman, we haven't discussed the concert series, and hopefully if everything goes good on November 8th, then we can pick that up November 9th and figure out which direction we're moving. Yeah, I mean, we thought it was great. Just within my staff and our board, we thought it was a fantastic community event. We really didn't hear much negativity on it, and so personally, I would love to increase it. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be a great thing for the community, but we will we'll keep you updated on what kind of we come up with. So
It certainly involved the community.
Yes.
Which hadn't happened previous to that. Even third Thursday, the effort was good, but it just didn't work right.
Mhm.
This is much better.
I agree. I think it to me, Third Thursday kind of was the same, whereas this was exciting because it was new every time. It was new bands, new music. So yeah, I agree.
My last comment, Braden, when you leverage every dollar to at least 21 or 20 or $33, I don't think that, was it Park County?
Fremont.
Did the half, Fremont County? I can't imagine they're gonna make that much. That's pretty impressive.
I agree. I saw a statistic, and this is just off the wall. This is based off of memory. Don't quote me on this, but Cheyenne Leads is the Cheyenne and Laramie counties economic development, and they deal mostly in land acquisition and that type of stuff, but their leverage ratio is about 6 to 1. So granted, it's a little different, but it is, and like I told you before, we were at, two of my staff and myself were at the Wyoming Economic Development Conference in Sheridan last week for a couple days, and we truly are an envy. Like, there are a lot of counties, a lot of economic developers around the state that are like, man, that'd be great. So, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for a small rural county in Wyoming, and we hope to keep it going.
Good enough. Council, have anything else for Braden?
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate
you.
the time.
Thanks, Braden.
Is there any action we need to take on?
I don't think so. We don't need to take action on anything here. I signed the document, so.
You've signed the letter, that's
Okay.
what they're.
All right, item number 2, special event permit. Leanne Mattis, I believe, is here tonight with Goshen County Economic Development, and they are requesting a special event permit for safety treat and trunk or treat event to be held on October 31st. And Leanne, you have the mic and you have the podium. And I know Chief Johnson also had a big part to do with this, so we may call on him too. So Leanne, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So yeah, we are planning on once again holding the safety trunk or treat event that I believe has been going on for over 20 years now. Economic Development and Chamber, I think this is just our 7th year that we've kind of taken the lead with this. And my first year taking the lead with it. And I'm just excited to do this event again. So we were able to go downtown and visit with most of the businesses on Main Street between 19th and 23rd, just to make sure they knew that we were planning on doing this again. We got their signatures in support of that. I believe there were only about 5 to 8 businesses that were closed when we went around, but for the most part, we got a pretty resounding support from them. This year, the event will be held on Halloween. That falls on a Monday, and we will be closing the street down at 5 o'clock to just, kind of avoid business hours for the most part. So closing the street down at 5, and then the event from 5:30 to 6:30. That's kind of it, unless if you have any questions for me. Chief might be able to answer any that I can't, but we're working really closely with Chief and the city, and look forward to another fun event for kids.
So I just comment, I hope the weather cooperates.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is a fantastic event. I know my grandkids always look forward to it, and, it's a big deal for all the kids in town, and it's just a great event, so I
Yeah.
support you
Thank you.
continuing it.
Yeah. And it's safe. I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many
Right.
kids would come by the house then after they'd been downtown and the parents would talk about, it's a safe place for the kids to be, so
Absolutely.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it really, and that's the reason this even came about, is to promote that safety. So,
We even have college students that go down there.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
They usually will decorate a trunk and hand out candy. It's fun. Yeah.
I might point out that the police department had a large role in this, put a lot of
Yeah.
effort into it, a lot of planning, and Ed Hawley with the streets department, a lot of effort on their behalf. Fire department's going to be there. A lot of people involved, not just those 3, but there's a large community activity, and it's really good for the community. Matt, do you have anything you want to add that didn't come up?
No, this is a great event. I mean, it's just so fun to get the chance to hang out with kids and give them a safe opportunity to have some fun on Halloween. We've moved the time down a little bit so that we are careful not to interrupt business hours for folks. And that works out better with street closure and downtown parking anyways. And it's going to be a great event. So we're grateful for economic development hosting it with us and making it happen.
Lance, are you guys going to hand out? Smoke detectors, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Very good.
Nice.
Okay.
Fantastic.
What a treat.
Before I forget, I want to make sure and say a special thank you to Ed Hawley and his team, because they sacrificially make that work and put together all those barricades and keep us
He's a pretty
running.
good guy, most of the time.
Don't tell him.
It's awesome.
Council, you have anything else for Leanne? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I would move to approve the permit.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Councilman McKinney, thank you.
I believe they're also asking for a waiver of the fee,
Yeah.
correct?
I would modify my
Okay.
motion.
Councilman
approve
Patterson, you
with
want to
the
restate
waiver.
your motion?
I would approve the permit with, and waive the fee.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a changed motion and approval by our second, so that we're in good shape. We have that in position. So is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, good luck. Hope it goes well.
Hope the weather holds.
Yeah. That's just.
Okay, we now move to 2IA, and this is an amendment to the agenda. Homecoming Parade Special Events Permit Update, and Chief Johnson is here to provide that information for us. And I believe we all have, yeah, okay. You're on.
Thank you, Councilman Patterson. Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is just a bit of a change on the homecoming parade for next Friday. Gabe wasn't able to be here tonight. He's managing the volleyball game and the events there at the high school. But what they've asked is to modify a bit from having the pep rally at City Park to just having it over at the high school. It's actually not, they're going to have it in the high school gym. It's a great setup and great environment for them to do that. It simplifies the operation for us from the standpoint of having one less part of town that we need to address with street closures and high pedestrian traffic and getting buses in and out and everything else. Really, the big changes are that our elementary kids will bus into downtown, and then they will load back up on the buses and bus over to the high school, so we don't have kiddos walking from downtown over to City Park. And they're going to be on controlled school property when they dismount of the bus and remount there. So it's not a big adjustment. It changes the route slightly. When they come off of 20th going west, they'll head back north on West A and then grab 23rd just straight back to the high school parking lot. Everybody else will be constrained by just standard pedestrian rules. And we'll probably do need to do a little bit of support, making sure that they get safely across West C at 23rd there, just because that'll be a little busier. But other than that, we don't expect this to be a problem. The team with the fire department is helping out a ton with having a lead vehicle and a tail vehicle, and this will simplify their handling as well. Just change the route by a block or two. And Ed's team is, again, doing great work to support on barricades and getting all that put together. And you should have the signatures in your packet that were promised a few weeks ago.
I remember last year, the only really concern I had during that last year was the fact that we didn't, it's hard to keep your hands around all these little kids running around in the streets, and especially when they're trying to get to City Park, and then at City Park and West C Street and all that. I think this actually simplifies it and makes it even safer than what we had last year.
We agree. I
Good
mean,
thing.
the plan we had for City Park would have worked, using the alley to handle the elementary kiddos, but this is just as good or better. So it's nothing negative.
So anyway, again, big thanks to the police department for managing this and so on. And again, Ed Hawley with the streets department for the barricades and all the stuff that goes on with that. And Chief Petch for, I think you're leading the parade, aren't you?
Usually we leave and then we have a day out.
Good enough. Appreciate your participation. Thanks. Anything else, Chief?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay.
I would move to approve the special event permit, the addendum for the permit.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Kelly, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the updated special events permit. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And last time we approved, we waived the fee last time, so we don't need to redo that. Good enough. All right, moving to item number 3, award the bid new crane with truck and dump body. Staff recommends awarding the bid to Ken Garf of Cheyenne for the truck and chassis only. And I'll turn that over to Lynette and Ed. Come on up, Ed.
So we opened the bids on September 14th at 2 p.m. The bid came in over budget by quite a bit, $74,251 over. Ed and staff looked at the crane and the truck and decided to move forward with the truck only. And I'll let him go ahead and explain.
We'd like to just go ahead and get the truck now because it's 550 days out and we know it's gonna go up in price.
550.
Yes. The crane, I had another bid, but the gentleman couldn't find anybody, no truck suppliers to bid with, and his price was much more in line with what we had budgeted. So that's kind of why we're throwing the crane in the box out and rebid it. The catch is it needs to be rebid before the first of the year because there is a announced 15% increase.
So how we get, you mean on
Then
this?
the crane is, once we get it, if we get it awarded, it'll be 240 days out for the crane and the box. So
It's amazing.
it is.
So we could get the crane in the box before we get the truck?
Yes. But I can go ahead and wait, from what I'm being told by the dealer, before they start manufacturing. We can get the order placed and then
Yeah.
hold off.
Okay.
I know Kelly had a picture out there of what, it was just one that the salesman sent, and it was a lot heavier unit than what we're looking for. It was a 110 crane where we're just looking at an 85 model, so it's quite a bit lighter. The box is a lot lighter, so it'll handle everything on the F600 is basically what they spec'd, so.
And the point of this is that we're gonna use it to list dumpsters and pick them up, put them on the
Yes.
body, and be able to take them to where they need to go to be repaired or whatever.
We can go out and pick dumpsters instead of taking 3 guys out. We can do it with 1 man. The crane will pick it up, set it on the truck, take it in to be repaired, new ones placed. Be used for signage, a lot of things within the city. Picking up, unfortunately, couches, mattresses, tree
Rototiller.
limbs. Yeah, the things that aren't supposed to be there that get there,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
With the grapple, you wouldn't have to, nobody has to touch it. So.
Good.
Yeah.
Be good.
I had a conversation with Ed and Kelly the other day about this whole thing. The only apprehension I have is we go ahead and bid the truck out, 550 days later, we'd have no truck for some reason, whatever. I don't know what happens to the bid then or what happens to everything. Same way with the crane. We get the crane, we order the crane, and then there's no truck. Or the truck and no crane. I just,
It's the world we're in right now.
I'm just really apprehensive about taking a year and a half to get something like that.
Yes.
So if we let that bid out and it takes that long, or if it doesn't ever come in, then what happens?
Well, depending on the contract, there should be a bid bond on it, and then we can go after it, get the money back. It'd be a damage claim.
I mean, we wouldn't have to pay for it before the truck came in, right?
No.
We could go after them if there was a difference, if we had to get it somewhere else, and so it could be a damage claim.
It's usually 5% of the bid is the amount of the bond, so we could get that back and go out and try to find a different one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough deal.
So then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I kind of understand Dennis's concern, but I don't see any other way around it. I don't know what we can do about it.
The only other thing I can think of is if you beat the bushes to actually find a unit that's already put together, maybe, I don't know. I don't know whether that was
we
pursued or
haven't
not.
Tried looking that route, but I don't know what's out there. Seems like everybody's having a hard time trying to find something.
So even the price of used stuff is
It's high.
way up,
It's
so,
almost buying new,
yeah.
and you don't know what you're getting.
And we still have to bid used stuff if
Yeah.
it's valued
Yeah.
over 35,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bidding environment is not great right now.
No market is.
So what this is asking, what we would be voting on here is just to award the bid for the truck.
Just for the truck, the chassis,
Okay,
yes. Which is 66,000, I believe.
740, okay.
If it's just a cab and chassis, didn't any Ford dealer, well, you bid it as a package, right?
We bid it as a package, but
So we might possibly, if we bid separately pieces, we might be able to get the cab and chassis quicker than a year and a half then.
from what I'm hearing from the dealers, no.
Because the guy you're buying it from here in Cheyenne's not a dealer, right?
He's a dealer.
A
He's,
Ford dealer?
yes. And he deals in medium-duty trucks and heavier.
Okay.
Because we tried getting prices from our local dealers, but they don't deal in that heavy a truck. the F-450 as far as they can go. Because of Ford says this becomes a medium duty, so you gotta be a medium duty dealer. And
I
that
think-
was the trouble my other crane vendor was having. He couldn't find anybody local, and by the time he found Mr. Graff, it was already too late for him, so.
I sent it out to 15 dealers and got one bid.
50?
15.
Oh, 15. Oh, jeez. That's still a lot.
I can understand it if it takes a year and a half to get it, I don't know whether they'd want to bid it.
Yes.
May not make any money.
Any other questions for Ed or for Lynette? Okay, council, what do you think?
I'd vote to award the bid to Ken Garf for the truck and chassis,
Okay,
$66,740.
thank you, Councilwoman Steinbach. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Kenny, thank you. We have a motion and a second to award the bid for the truck and chassis only in the amount of $66,740. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have done that.
We'll see it in a year and a half.
By the way, please invite me. I'll be out there somewhere.
Okay.
That's
Will
as
do.
bad as a fire engine.
While I'm up here, I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for our loader that arrived today,
Oh, yeah.
Good.
They had fun playing with it.
and we have some pictures.
Yeah, I want to see pictures.
Finally showed up,
Nice.
It's the same picture, just.
Thanks, Ed.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to item number 4, approval of the bills from 9/21/22 through October 4th, 2022.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Pass one down.
I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have on the bills.
On page 4 of the first set, mid-coat diving, is that for checking the water tanks?
Yes.
So did they find any issues with any of those?
You know, it doesn't say on the
Okay.
bill.
Oh, okay. But it says EPA report. I was just wondering. Somebody must have gotten a report about how things, what they look like.
That is exactly what it says on the bill, and that's it.
Okay. You didn't
Sorry.
get some kind of a report? Anybody?
Tom probably did.
Tom probably had.
Yeah, Tom probably did.
Okay, I'll have to check with him. Thank you.
I can have him contact you if you would like.
Okay.
Where are those valves located?
Do what?
Where are the valves?
They're tanks.
Tank.
Water tanks,
Oh,
you
okay.
dive in the
Yeah.
tank.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they were in the sewage lagoon or if they were.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That'd be nasty. On the first page of the second set, the Barco Municipal Products, what was that bench? Was that something that it says it's personalized?
Wyoming Community Gas bought that bench.
Okay.
Is that in front of Ted's house?
Yes, I think it's on the, well, not in front, but it's on Lupine Park. It's that new area there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And get a place to sit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice bench.
Is it? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Good.
Even sat there for a minute.
I would move to approve the bills.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the bills. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approved the bills. Public comments, anyone here tonight who'd like to speak? I can't imagine there is. But if there is, now's the time. Okay, guess not. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, unless council has something they'd like to say. No? Okay.
Good.
And move to adjourn.
Councilwoman Steinbach, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.